All is fair in love and war, especially if you heard the announcement given by Pete Hegseth yesterday. Devastating news. White House now preparing for retaliation. Major stories breaking as the Democrats are focusing on tariff terror. There's actually real news happening that could have devastating implications for our present, our near future, and our distant future. And those are all the stories I'm going to cover for you here in just 1 minute. Folks, I don't know why they did not want me to get this broadcast up, but it's failed about 5 times so far. So we're going to go through this rapid fire major news coming out of the White House. DHS officials ask IRS to use tax data to locate 7 million immigrants. The left goes crazy. But I'm going to keep this real black and white for you. They're trying to find 7 million by using IRS data. Homeland Security previously looked for 700,000 people, Department of Homeland Security. But now the IRS and DHS make a deal. We'll give you that data. The left goes crazy. Before we get to the major story here, the Trump administration filed a memorandum of understanding late Monday with the court to create guardrails and a process for ICE requests to the IRS to further investigations of criminal, illegal immigrants who refused to leave the United States 90 days after a judge has issued a final order of removal. Why are the Democrats and the left and some Republicans fighting against this, I ask you? Some veteran IRS officials have expressed concern. Now, this is the argument they give, arguing the narrow exemption was meant only for criminal investigations. If you're here illegally, is that not a criminal investigation? I'm sorry, folks, this is much easier than the mainstream media is making it out to be. DHS orders 900,000 Biden. See, Trump doubles down. This is a genius strategy right now. I'm going to move so fast you can't keep up with me. What does he do? He goes after everyone who came here on the CBP One app. He's already shut it down. Now they're getting messages. Time to self-deport. You can use the same app you came here with to self-deport. And if you don't, to make matters even worse, Trump is going to fine them almost $1,000 a day, potentially seize property, and everyone's going crazy. But why? There's law and there's precedents that Trump is following. There's the law itself. So what is this argument exactly? What to know? Authorities have confirmed determination notices were sent to CBP One beneficiaries, but did not say how many. Migrants were urged to voluntarily self-deport using the same app they entered on, which has been renamed CBP One Home. All Trump did was strip away the CBP One app and follow the rules of law and order. And he's using every means necessary to do so because why? We gave him the mandate for change. Period. A lot that happened yesterday is very black and white, though. Trump was handed another victory, but this Hegseth announcement goes to show something much larger is happening. Now, before I get there, huge favor, because I don't want to stop, because it seems to have failed me so many times. I want you to make sure you are subscribed to the channel. Also, those of you who joined as members, thank you so much. Super thanks. Thank you so much. Another means of supporting me is going to a very important sponsor. If you haven't gone to JustusKnightGold.com quite yet, I want you to go there today. JustusKnightGold.com. Gold's up 46% in a year, doubling NASDAQ and S&P 500 gains. Now that metric has changed based on current stock market. But this isn't just another rally. Global reserves are shifting as investors rush to secure physical gold, creating a massive supply gap. Gold's vanishing from the market, and there's good reason why. But you still have a chance by simply going to JustusKnightGold.com and turn their panic into your profit. Make a qualified investment on top of all of this and get this free 10th ounce gold coin. I want you to remember there is always a risk to investing. No guarantees. But if you go to JustusKnightGold.com right now, Noble Gold will see you through that risk and help you invest in precious gold and silver. And also, there's more information in the description box below, and I also put a phone number up, but make sure if you call, you say Justus Knight sent you. But now let's get back to this broadcast. Told you Supreme Court handed Trump another victory, didn't they? All those officials that he fired, well, they put a stay on the order demanding that Trump let him go back to work for now. Of course, the dissent was by Sotomayor and Jackson. We wouldn't have expected much less. But there's that big story looming, right? Trump goes after China. 104% additional tariffs went into effect. What's China's response? We're going to stop buying Hollywood movies. Please. I am tired of seeing Chinese propaganda in Hollywood films. The reason they're adding that is because they know they're going to sell it to China. China buys more of those movies, exerts influence into Hollywood. Hollywood makes more China-based movies, and we have to watch the propaganda. So please, stop buying Hollywood movies. If that's your biggest threat, of course we know it won't be. It won't be. I promise you that. But a lot of moving parts right now in global geopolitics, right? Because Ukraine's got a problem. Russia is advancing. It appears now without Trump's support, man, without Biden's support that was given, you're not looking so well anymore. Russia is advancing. You see here on Reuters, Russia pushes Ukraine troops from one of their last footholds in the Kursk region, the army states. But then, lo and behold, and remember, I don't believe in coincidence. Everything's a matter of timing. Zelensky releases a tape of a Chinese troop fighting with Russia. Coincidence? Ukraine says it captured 2 Chinese nationals fighting in the Russian army. And now, according to Zelensky, the U.S. better help respond. Boy, wasn't that convenient. Just putting a different spin on the news you're reading here. Because it all boils back to these tariffs and that growing campaign against China and Hegseth. Because if you're going to saber rattle against China and Russia, you better be able to back up your words. We're no longer retreating, folks. We are advancing. At all costs, no matter what the mainstream media covers, just like this story. Terminated. Pete Hegseth delivers shocking news. What does he do? He fires a Navy admiral. Be more specific. Well, there's not a problem being more specific there. Mark Warner comes out. I'm deeply disturbed by the firing of a top U.S. military official at NATO, Navy Vice Admiral Chatfield, a combat veteran and helicopter pilot. Trump's relentless attacks on our alliances and his careless dismissal of decorated military officials makes us less safe. Wait now. Hegseth is called for military lethality. I know that's a word, especially when you all opposed any masculinity. As a matter of fact, you called it toxic. So, of course, now when we're rebuilding our mighty forces, this is going to bother you. But Justice, I saw, all she was doing is standing up for women's equality. Nothing wrong with that, except that's not why. Now, is it? Because if you dig a little deeper, per report, Navy Vice Admiral Chatfield refused to put up the President of the United States and Secretary of Defense pictures at NATO. And to make matters worse, held an all-hands-on-deck meeting where she said, we will wait them out for 4 years. Now, in my life, that would be called dissent and dissension against the Commander-in-Chief. So she's been relieved of her duty. Let's put everything into context, shall we? Because we're fighting public enemy number 1 right now. But you can't just fight him with words. Words don't work so well on a battlefield. For all you veterans out there, I look forward for you putting that in the comments. So what does Trump do? Triples down. $1 trillion defense budget. Why not? China's launching into space. Russia's launching into space. The next battlefield. And what have we done? We weakened our military. We're going to build lethality. We're going to strengthen our defense. Because if you're going to go against these boys, you better show them that you put your money where your mouth is. And that's what Trump is doing. He's showing them we're not backing down in any way, shape, or form. Because there's a lot of bad forces out there, he says, and there certainly is. And if we can't defend against them, then we're a sitting duck. And I'm tired of being a sitting duck. So $1 trillion, but he's adding to the deficit. Well, you don't have a choice. If you can't defend yourself, what does the deficit matter? Because you'll be destroyed. And if you want to play in this sandbox, you better be able to defend yourself. Pete Hegseth comes out. Thank you, Mr. President. After he makes this devastating announcement that he removed an admiral. Now you know why. But the most devastating announcement wasn't focused on the admiral. It was focused on China. And this $1 trillion defense budget he thanks President Trump for and says he intends to spend every taxpayer dollar wisely on lethality and readiness. It's all been very consistent, even though the mainstream media tries to paint it that it's not. And I love when they try to give an argument and they actually bolster for the very event that just happened. Add another trillion to the U.S. debt. None of the budget cuts in Washington have reached the Pentagon, which does precisely nothing to defend the USA. Exactly. It wasn't doing anything to defend the USA. Hence why they need to spend money now at $1 trillion to defend the USA. Thank you so much for the terrible argument you gave against us, because all you did is reinforce why we needed to do it. But that's what they do because they're seeing red right now. They can't understand this. Why are you pushing back against China so badly? Why are you going to Panama? Why is the Panama Canal so significant? I hope many of you realize I've been reporting on this for months now. I told you why it was so significant. I told you what the focus was. From day one, it's always been China. From Greenland to the Panama Canal to the tariffs, and there'll be much more than that. So Pete Hegseth goes to Panama. And what does he state? Why do we need a $1 trillion defense budget? Why do we need to strengthen our borders? Why do we need to reinforce against rogue politicians and lower the bureaucratic state? Why do we need to build our defense? Because you can't state things like this without being able to back them up.
I want to be very clear. China did not build this canal. China does not operate this canal. And China will not weaponize this canal. Together with Panama in the lead, we will keep the canal secure and available for all nations through the deterrent power of the strongest, most effective, and most lethal fighting force in the world. We will do this in partnership with Panama. Together, we will take back the Panama Canal from China's influence.
And there you have it. Pretty black and white now, isn't it? So you can take all the noise you hear in all these mainstream media stories and all these talking heads, and you can now throw them in the garbage and understand in very black and white terms why we're doing what we're doing. America is no longer retreating. We are advancing towards protecting the sovereignty of the great Republic of the United States of America, as we needed to for years, but it was all let go under a different regime and now being brought full force forward to advance American interests. Plain and simple. Hope you enjoyed the broadcast. If you did, I want to see it in the comments below. Love you to share the video. Can't thank you enough for being here today. Until next time, Godspeed and God bless. Justus Knight, signing out.